Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. So let's make a part 4 special edition about pressure points and chi powers. Or chi and pressure points. So before I went to work today, and while I was driving to work, I did ask people from Instagram if they wanted to see another video about pressure points and chi. And I'm going to specifically do more pressure points than chi for this video. Because the other 2 or 3 videos, I believe I mostly talked about chi. I'm not going to swear to it, but like I said, I believe in chi. Again, it's not the super mystical power thing that it is like in movies and shit and video games and stuff like that. But I do know that it exists. Or maybe I've brainwashed myself to believe it. Believe what you want. I can't stop you from believing, but I will tell you this. Because I am a person who believes in God, and I said believe in God, not fear God. You're not supposed to fear your Creator. Just in case anybody out here who thinks that if you are God-fearing, you should be afraid of God. No, if you believe and love God, you should not be afraid of your Creator. Fear His power, but don't fear the Creator. The Creator loves you, so He should not be trying to kill you unless you are committing some horrible-ass atrocities like child rape, murder, genocide, main rape, adult rape, anything involving rape, you probably should fear God and mankind. So, when it comes down to chi, does it have a strength personified thing? I'm going to say no, because a lot of people will mistake that for adrenaline. We all know that when adrenaline rushes happen, you get stronger and you get tougher. You might get like more sight, like tunnel vision. Your hearing might pick up. You don't really know how adrenaline affects everyone else. I know how it affects me. I definitely get stronger and tougher. My sight does not improve and my hearing does not improve because that's just well-skilled training. And you should be able to use all of your senses in a fight to begin with. Now the other thing about chi, again, Hadouken! I cannot do that. And again, I say this in this 4th video. If you can do that, please come teach me how to do that. Because everybody on Earth is generally naturally human, unless you're secretly an alien hybrid, which would give you the ability to probably do that shit, because it would deny human physics, or scientific physics, or logic. I am a logical thinker, by the way, so let's talk about pressure points now. Now, the thing about pressure points, like I said in the other 3 videos, I've studied 2 forms of Kenpo, and Kenpo specifically deals with pressure points. If you haven't had Kenpo, don't shit on it until you take it. It's the same thing I would tell anybody who's shitting on Aikido. Don't shit on it if you haven't taken it. And yeah, it's a lot of fancy shit, but so is Wushu, which I've taken. So is Wing Chun, but Wing Chun isn't flashy like Wushu and Taekwondo and Naharte, which I've also taken. The thing with anything flashy is not always good, because you can be flashy flipping through the air, but what happens if you do all that shit and you miss? And also on pressure points, the thing that would make them effective is if you actually know how to hit someone there, and then you have to worry about reality. Alright, so here's reality. I know how to make it work. The problem is, I don't know what you know. I don't know how good your defenses is if I'm throwing a straight jab from the right or a jab from the left. If I don't know what you know, we're going to fight until we find out. I understand. So if I'm throwing a punch and then I shift into Mantis. So you guys can see, shift into Mantis. Sometimes you can do Mantis this way. I don't recommend it, but it's supposed to be your hooked hands because they're your cleaves. So if you're going for a punch and then you throw a Mantis strike and you decide to strike in one of these indentions where my shoulder and collarbone meet, you're aiming for a pressure point. Whether you're going to hit that sumbitch or not is a whole nother ballgame. If you decide to do it into my throat, going down, or if you're going to go tiger and go up to grip the pressure points that's lined up under here, and there's one in the middle, then, it's going to be something that I need to be aware of. So, like, if I block this, I still got to worry about your other hand, or your other hand, or foot. You have a lot of different styles, alright? If you haven't heard of this is your triangle block. So, for those who have not been taught this, I'll try to make a video later tonight with that if I remember. Your triangle block. So it's here, here, and then here, so that you can have both hands blocked down. Triangle, triangle. You're keeping it in triangle. Boom, 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 boom. You know, it's still a triangle. See, if I had a third hand, it would be over there. So there's a triangle block here. There's a triangle block there, and in there, and in there. So you have your triangle. It's like when you're doing the Tai Chi. Feel the wind in your hands. Push it down. Feel your chi in your top. Push it down from Qigong. There's a lot of things that you can do. Push it from side to side. There's a lot of things you can do to manifest this shit. But for pressure points in general, if I'm throwing a punch and I turn into a jab with a 2-finger jab, which would be a target in here, or maybe here, or under here, or in there, you know, I'm targeting the places that I was taught in Kenpo to strike. Because every strike is a block and every block is a strike. So if you throw punch this way, which would be your right hand, and I throw a block, I'm going to strike. As I block, instead of open hand, I'm going to strike. I may do a double knuckle. My target is your supraradial bone here. So therefore, I'm going to try to do that, but I'm going to try to aim at that little wrist spot. But as you all know, and if you don't know, this is how fights actually work. I'm not going to be fast enough to point that shit out. Understand that. I'm going to be fast enough to block that bitch. But I'm not going to be, like, direct on point with that shit. I may be somewhere in this radius, but I need to be here. If I can't get there, it's not going to do me any good. But I'll have to strike you hard enough to know that you've been hit here. So, but that bone there, it was my central target, you know. Right in here where the bones meet, you know, that would be my target for Kenpo. However, when you are in a fight, everything that you have learned has pretty much gone out the window once a fist is being swung at your face. I don't give a damn who you are. If you're in like a UFC competition, or if you're in sport karate, it's not going to be thrown out the window because you have a game plan. When you are in the streets, there's no game plan. You're in it for the win, or you're in it for survival. You will figure that out when that fist is coming across the bow of your nose. So you're going to know when you get into this shit what's up, you know. So if you, boom, you block and you throw a Kenpo block when somebody's throwing a straight jab, you know, pow, or boom, you know, you're going to figure that shit out when the fight starts. You're not going to know when y'all just talking shit, which is an easy way for you to get snuffed. So you want to stay at a fucking striking distance. If this motherfucker's constantly approaching, back up a step or two. And if he keeps approaching, then you throw the first blow. Because he's approaching on your shit. So, I'm sorry. You may have to catch a charge for that shit, but you gotta level this motherfucker before he levels you. And I'm sorry to say that if you guys think I'm promoting violence. I'm not really trying to promote violence. I'm trying to promote the fucking truth. If someone's constantly talking shit and moving at you, they're fixing to snuff your shit. It's just that simple. They're not fixing to keep talking. They're fixing to get close enough so that they can strike you, because either they're not really good fighters, or they really want to hurt you bad enough to make sure that they don't have to fight you anymore. And trust me, a sucker punch fucking sucks. I don't know. I got sucker punched twice. I talk about that in the other video about the stolen car that I didn't steal but was driving. And handcuffs. So, I'm going to end this video on this. If you don't know anything about pressure points, the best way I can point you is to talk to people who do yoga, and talk to people who've studied the 3 forms of Kenpo. Now, like I said in the other 2 videos, I don't know shit about Shaolin Kenpo. I know Okinawa Karate and Okinawa Kenpo, and I know Korean Kenpo. So, those ones, I can definitely direct you in the pressure points, because everywhere there's a joint, there's a pressure point. And this is what I was taught. And every block is a strike, and every strike is a block. So, if you're going to strike pressure points, you need to know where the pressure points are. So, there's pressure points under your knuckles. The chances of you actually nailing someone with that shit, it's horseshit. So don't even think about trying to knuckle strike a knuckle. You want to strike the metacarpals because your hand is very sensitive. And you strike up here versus trying to strike the knuckles themselves, you're just wasting your time. But these pressure points inside your elbow and these teardrops, they're also in your knees. So you have 4. So, you know, they're small. You know, so they're in there, you know. Now, I will tell you this, one thing you have to understand about pressure points. No matter what anybody else tells you, this is the one thing you must understand. Wherever you find them on you, you're not going to find them on everyone else the same. They're going to be off-centered, you know. If I find mine here, you may find yours there. It's not going to be the same. We all look the same on the outside, we're supposed to be all the same on the inside, but that actually is not factually true. The factual truth is we have 2 eyes, 2 nostril holes, a mouth, 2 ears, 5 fingers and toes on each hand. That's pretty much where we're all similar. And then if you have a vagina or if you have a penis. Excuse me. That's pretty much where we're all similar. So where we differ, blood types, DNA, ethnicities, cultures, we differ on that shit, not just on the outside but on the inside, you know. Which is like what shapes your eye color, what shapes your eyes. Like if you're like totally Asian, you're gonna have slanted eyes, and if you don't have slanted eyes, you're gonna have puffy eyes, so that it looks like they're swollen. So like I said, we all look the same on the outside. We're supposed to look the same on the inside, but that's not always true. Muscle mechanics are different. Vocabularies of your arteries and your veins, they all look the same, but in essence, they don't all look the same. You know, try not to make this more complicated than it actually is. Basically, what hurts me will hurt you. It's just going to work a lot harder for me to get to that point on your body than it is to find it on myself. Does that make sense? I hope that it does. So if I'm throwing a punch and I'm throwing it at your solid muscle of your chest, I'm probably not going to hurt you that much. Because you know wrestlers, they get hit in the chest all the time. Some people's chests get caved in. Hail Kofi Kingston. Ribs, your lower abdomen and stuff like that, some of those places are a little bit more tender and easier to hurt people. And it's the same thing with poking. It's the same thing like, alright, if you watch a lot of BJJ fights when they take it to the ground and people get side mount or top control where they're laying across your chest, for some reason, people are so worried about getting put in an armbar, they don't think if I put my knees into this guy, I'm going to level him out. Now, the reason that is because when you're in panic mode or when you're in fighting mode, your ability to think doesn't always go into war mode. It doesn't go into survival mode because a lot of people aren't taught that when they are taught BJJ. Now, I learned BJJ in the Army, and I will be the first to tell you I totally fucking suck at it. But I will tell you that if you got top mount and you're trying to put this arm in an arm bar and I got it locked, and you're doing everything you can to focus on this arm, I got ways out. I can roll, or I can fucking use my goddamn knees. Especially like if you got top mount and you have your forearm like on my face and mushing me down and I'm panicking and shit, I have knees. I can use them. A lot of people have not been trained that way. The Army didn't train me that way. I already knew how to fight from my back in the first damn place. But when somebody's on top of you, it's hard to stay focused because you're either getting hit or you're trying to prevent from getting hit. And sometimes you may just have to take a hit to take the win. You know, so shit happens. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll make more martial art movies after I figure out what I'm going to do. Thanks for watching. Be seeing you.